All right, everybody. Welcome back to class. Thank you for your understanding when I had to miss the other day. Glad to be back here. I am not going to get political during this class, but I am going to acknowledge the heaviness that has accompanied the last 24 hours, the last week, the amount of stress probably everybody was under, no matter who you voted for. I'm going to focus today's class on a sense of groundedness as we come back together in this collective space. If you're hurt today, if you're hurting, if you are struggling, then you're safe here. If you are happy with the decision as well, you're safe here. Thank you for being here together as a collective. But I do want to acknowledge, because it's been kind of a crazy 24 hours. No matter where you are, go ahead and take a seat on your mat. You can find crisscross applesauce or a seated position on your shins, and I want you to feel your sit bones or your shins connect with the mat below. Really, really feel yourself connecting down into the earth. Finding a posture in which your shoulders are pulled back, your heart is open, lifting through the crown of the head and taking some deep cleansing breaths. Find yourself in this space. Think about what a sense of groundedness feels like, looks like, means to you. Let your posture reflect that throughout today's flow. Let your breath reflect that energy back. If you haven't already, begin to deepen your breath, taking a deep inhale down into your low belly, letting it inflate out towards the front of the room. And exhale back out through the nose or mouth, allowing some noise to break through. It can be a little sigh. Maybe the sound of a gentle ocean wave as it crashes against the shore, but do not be afraid to allow sound with your breath today. All of these things, sensation in the body, connecting down into the earth, moving sound out through the nose or mouth, all of this helps us ground into the body what is 100% there, concrete and real. Our thoughts might spin, our feelings might ebb and flow. But if we can remain present, we can cultivate a better sense of what is within our control according to our own value systems. This means moving out of judgment, out of hate. This means moving out of shame and guilt. This means, what do I care about, and how do I take the next right step? With your next inhale, I invite you to bring your hands out to the sides and then lift them up over your head, pulling your palms together and then down to your heart center. Bow your chin down into your chest. Feel your sit bones or your shins connect with the earth. Your palms connect with each other. Feel your heart open as you draw your shoulder blades together. take a moment to set an intention for today's practice. What does it look like to move back into today after class with more of a sense of groundedness, more nervous system regulation, while also holding our feelings with courage and conviction? With your next inhale, lift your hands up over your head, open your throat to the front of the room, and then bring your hands open out to the sides, very slight bend in the elbows, opening the chest. Let your shoulders relax. And then release the palms down to the earth, rolling up over your knees and coming into all fours. Your hands will ground beneath your shoulders, your knees beneath your hips, as you begin to find a little bit of fluid movement through the body. What hurts, what's speaking to you today, what needs your attention. Oftentimes, undealt with emotion manifests as pain or tightness in the body. And so without judging it or needing to figure anything out, check in with those areas that are calling out to you and maybe ask yourself, what are you feeling? What might be trapped here? What's repressed or undealt with? Let the answers land in the front of your mind. When you're ready, ground yourself into all fours, taking your hands so that your fingers splay wide. There's a nice little space between your palm and the mat, like a suction cup. Knees ground beneath your hips. Lift your heart out towards the front of the room. Beautiful regal posture. Move your elbows so that they rotate in towards each other. And then flip your toes down into the mat, lifting the knees and then pressing the heart towards the thighs. Downward facing dog. You can begin to pedal out the feet. Go nice and slow, a nice deep bend through one knee as you release the opposite heel down to the mat. You should feel a nice big stretch through the back of the legs, through the calf muscle. Take your time here. Feel what's going on in your body. Remain strong through the upper body, pressing the heart towards the upper thighs. And when you're ready, find stillness. Inching your tailbone a little closer towards the sky, and then release your heels down towards the mat with gravity. Breathe here. After your next inhale, exhale as you walk your hands back towards your toes at the back of your mat and release your heart under your upper thighs. Heel toe your feet out a little bit farther apart and then grab opposite elbows for ragdoll pose. Here the weight moving back towards your heels is counterbalanced by all of that weight hanging forward. You can even take a little rock back and forth if that feels good. Feel your feet connect into the earth, creating that balance for you. When we have a firm foundation, we can let go of some of the control. What is your foundation? What matters? What are your core values? And then rest. Release your fingertips down to the earth. Heel toe the feet together at center to touch. And then inhale, find halfway lift. Heart reaching forward. Fingertips to the center of the shins, or maybe they can creep a little bit farther down. Feel that deep stretch through the back of the legs. Exhale, release. Inhale, circle sweep. Use your core, use your glutes to lift all the way up. And exhale the hands down to the heart and then down to your sides, palms facing me in mountain. Inhale, lift the hands up overhead. Briefly touch the fingertips. Exhale, swan dive down. Walk your hands to the front of your mat, finding plank pose. Hands ground right underneath the shoulders. You can always modify with shins down in this pose, but I really want you to feel your center. Your eyes are forward. Strength through the core. Core of self, pressing back through your heels, and then release the shins, the tops of your feet. Lift your heart and keep your elbows tight into the body as you release the heart all the way down to the mat. Release the legs one at a time. Slide your forearms out in front of you so that the crease of your elbow lands right underneath the shoulder. Lift through the heart. Breathe in a Sphinx pose. You can rock the hips to remind the glutes to turn off in this pose. Legs should be about hip width apart. And the stretch should be concentrated not in your low back, but right above your low back. Breathe. Slowly release the heart down, dragging hands one at a time beneath the shoulders. Take your toes hip width behind you, and then if you can, in one swift motion, press yourself all the way back up to plank and back into downward facing dog. Make your way there in whatever way makes sense to you today. Take a deep breath once you're here. Inhale, ripple forward into plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left heel rises up towards the sky, pinky toe squared down. And then open the hip, point the toe, single leg dog. Exhale, pull that knee forward between the hands, low lunge. Stay here for a beat, reaching long through that back leg. The knee stacked right over that second and third toe. Breathe here. Beautiful. Go ahead and take that back leg and step it forward to meet the opposite, forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and then down to your sides, palms facing me in mountain. Inhale, scoop the hands up. Barely touch the fingertips at the top. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, heart reaches up. Exhale, fold. Take your palms down to frame the feet. Hop or step back to plank. Ground here. Through the hands, heart reaches forward. Pull your belly button into your spine. Wrap your ribs all the way around. Gazes forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your shins down, tops of your feet. Align your heart forward. Exhale, elbows down, skimming the sides of the body, and then release each leg about hip width apart. From here, you're going to go ahead and slide your hands out into a T, palms facing down. Your nose should be aiming down towards the ground. And then you're going to slide your left hand into the body and press into it, keeping your shoulder grounded down onto the mat. So we're opening things up through the shoulder, through the chest here. Little twist in the body. Breathe. Every part of you connecting with your mat, with the earth. Be aware of that connection. Exhale slowly. We're going to go ahead and bring our hips back down to center. And then pull that arm all the way back in. Take your toes, point them down into the mat. And if you can, in one fell swoop, press yourself all the way up to plank and exhale, downward facing dog. Don't worry, we will repeat on the other side. With your next exhale, walk your hands back towards your toes at the back of your mat and release into forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep all the way up. Palms together, exhale them down to heart center, and then release them down to mountain. Inhale, lift all the way up. Briefly touch the fingertips, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, heart reaches forward. Exhale, fold. Slowly walk your hands to the front of your mat, finding plank. Hold here. Wrap through your rib cage, gaze is forward. Remember, you can always modify, taking your shins down. Press through the back of your heels, strong legs, tight belly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your shins, the tops of your feet, and exhale, keep the elbows tight into the body. Releasing all the way down. Once you're there, release the feet, hip width apart behind you. Slide your hands out to either side. This time you're going to pull your right hand in, fingertips underneath the shoulder, and keeping your shoulder down away from the ears, your arm fully extended. You're going to press into that hand, rotating that leg back into a little twist. The goal here is, again, to keep your shoulder fully pressed down into the mat or into the ground below. Little twist in the back, openness in the chest, stretching out the shoulder as well. Take a deep breath into your low belly. Slowly come out of the pose, bringing both hips square down into the mat, dragging the left hand in, hands beneath the shoulders here. And one last time, if you're joining me, take your toes, point them down into the mat, strong through the heels like you're pressing back down, and then use your strength to press all the way back up into plank. And exhale into downward facing dog. Breathe into your low back, release your heels with gravity. And then we're going to now take that right heel up towards the sky. Pinky toe squared down, hip square into the mat, and then point the toe, open the hip, single leg dog. Exhale, pull that knee forward between the hands, stepping down into low lunge. Balancing out the work we did on the other side. Stay here, stay strong. Press through that back leg. We're nice and active. Be aware of what's going on in your body. Be aware of the way that your foot connects down into the mat. The way that your heart lifts. Your posture. your support. We're going to take that back foot, step it in to meet the other in forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep, leading with the heart. Palms meet at the top, exhale them down to the heart. And then down to your sides, palms facing the front of the room. Take a deep breath here in mountain pose. Feel your feet connecting in with the earth. If your feet are together, you can heel toe them out just a little bit. Again, finding that groundedness connection in all four corners of the feet. We're going to take our weight onto the right side. We find a little kickstand with our left toe. From here, we're going to move into tree pose. So taking that foot either to right at the ankle, below the knee, not on, or all the way tucked into the inner corner. You can stay here in mountain. You can pull the hands together in prayer. You can lift the hands up over your head, or you can open your branches, or any variation of these things. But your goal is to find a place to focus on the ground in front of you, the wall in front of you, the mirror, while maintaining excellent posture, grounding through that bottom foot. As you find that focus, imagine this is a little metaphor for life. Where your focus is where your reality is. What's important to focus on? A value, a concept, people, a group. Pull your focus into that thing as you continue to keep your eyes fixed wherever they may be. Remember what's important. When you're ready, if you can, disconnect the foot from the body and take that foot out in front of you, flex. It's okay to tap down if you need to. You can stay here, or you can take the hands underneath the thighs and extend that leg out. If you can be here and walk the hands out a little bit, that's also welcome here. We're just playing around with some balance work. When you're ready, bend at the knee, lift up, and then release the foot down. Inhale, lift the hands up overhead. Exhale the hands down to the heart, hands down to mountain. Inhale, lift the hands once more. And exhale, down to prayer or down to mountain, whatever starting point makes the most sense to you. We're going to take the weight now into the left leg, repeating the same sequence. Whatever you did on the first side, please repeat it on this. Foot can either connect down to the ankle, kickstand down to the ground if that's okay, if you want to, or you can bring it up under the knee or tuck it into the inner upper thigh. Any variation of hand movements is welcome here. But no matter what, excellent posture, groundedness through all four corners of that foot. And again, pull your focus to a central point, whether your gaze is fixed or you'd like to close your eyes to examine a little bit more of a balance challenge. There's no right or wrong way. But your goal is to remember, if you're applying this as a metaphor for life, what is important? We're going to get knocked off kilter. There's going to be unexpected things. And remembering these core values, ideals, the most important people or groups that need our support, that we need support from. It's essential to go there and to remember how important that is to your sense of groundedness. Breathe down into that foot. If and when you're ready, you can disconnect that foot from the body, flexing the foot out in front of you to a 90-degree angle. And again, you can take your hands beneath the thighs if you'd like to continue on. Extend the foot out in front of you. Play around with your balance. When you're ready, bend through the knee, lift up towards your chest and release down. Hands come down to mountain. You can walk the feet out if that feels good to you. And then inhale, lift the hands up above your head, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, heart reaches forward. And exhale, fold, taking your hands down to frame the feet, step back to plank. Press through the backs of the heels. Stay strong. It doesn't matter if you're modified or you're in a fully extended plank. I want you to imagine all of the muscles around your rib cage clenching. This is you strong, grounded, and focused, moving through discomfort with a better sense of who you are. We stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your shins, the tops of your feet. Keep your elbows tight into the body as you release the heart all the way down. You can move into a fully extended Shavasana. For today, I'm gonna lay here, belly down. I'm going to take my gaze over to one side, create a little pillow with my arms. If it feels good for you, you can even rock the hips down into the mat, trying to release the hip flexors, where we store a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stagnation. Breathe deeply into your belly, no matter what pose you're taking. And when you're ready, move into stillness. Relax the body. Today, we brought in a little bit of discomfort. We brought in some of these things that make us stronger. Plank work. We brought in a deeper sense of groundedness of what's going on in our own bodies, the things that we can focus on that remind us who we are and what we care about. As we ground, as we move through discomfort from these places, it allows more space for rest, for ease, trust. Breathe into that space right now. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Just be with yourself for a few moments before class concludes. When you're ready, if you're on your belly, you can make your way onto your side. If you're on your back, you can do the same. Now rest here in the fetal position for just a moment. And as each individual is ready, you know the drill to safely bring yourself back up into an upright position as we conclude class. Thank you for flowing with me today. I hope that a sense of groundedness was as needed for each of you as it was for me. I appreciate you showing up for yourselves today. As always, keep grounding at every stage of the journey. Remember who you are, what truly matters, and we're in this together. Thank you. Namaste, my friends.